Hello listeners and welcome to today's Cult News. I'm your speaker Casey, and for this segment we are going to be looking into the group known as Shincheonji and the surrounding controversies of this group. Shincheonji, also known as the Shincheonji Church of Jesus, is a religious group that was founded in 1984 by Lee Man-hee in South Korea. It claims to be a Christian denomination and has gained attention due to its controversial practices and alleged involvement in various controversies. Some of those controversies include the founder and leader, Lee Man-hee, who is considered by his followers to be the promised pastor who will complete the mission of Jesus Christ. Critics argue that Lee exerts excessive control over his followers and employs cult-like practices and manipulation. Shincheonji has distinct doctrinal beliefs that differ from mainstream Christianity. Its teachings revolve around the idea of the new heaven and the new earth and the notion that Lee Man-hee is the sole interpreter of the Bible. This has led to accusations of heresy from traditional Christian groups. Shincheonji has been accused of engaging in deceptive recruitment practices. It often targets vulnerable individuals such as students or those experiencing personal hardships, using various methods to attract and retain members. Critics claim that the group operates secretively, discouraging members from discussing their involvement with outsiders. Shincheonji gained significant international attention during the COVID-19 pandemic in early 2020 when it was linked to a large outbreak in South Korea, with many cases being traced back to its members. The group faced criticism for its alleged lack of transparency and failure to cooperate fully with ongoing health authorities and restrictions around social distancing during contact tracing efforts. And Shincheonji has faced legal challenges in South Korea, as some Christian groups and individuals have accused the organization of being a cult and have campaigned against it. There have been reports of harassment, threats, and vandalism from Shincheonji members. And those things that I've just listed, you can hear about in detailed interviews with former Shincheonji members on the Cult Vault podcast. In April 2023, Stuff magazine, a New Zealand-based media outlet who recently released the exceptional 12-part podcast series The Commune about Bert Potter's Centrepoint, has remarked on how Shincheonji appears to be attempting to expand its practices in certain regions of New Zealand. The article states, former members of a Korean doomsday cult are sounding a warning that the religious sect is turning its focus to Pacific nations. Undeterred by public scrutiny, a secretive religious group is expanding into the Pacific Islands and targeting Pacifica people from faith backgrounds. A group of former Shincheonji members have said there was immediate concern at news of the cult's fresh outreach programs in Samoa and the Cook Islands. Quote, we've been disappointed and concerned about Shincheonji's attempts to recruit in Samoa and elsewhere, said a spokesperson for the group What is Shincheonji, which is a collection of New Zealand-based former members. Following this, News24 released an article out of South Africa about a young woman who was deceptively recruited into SCJ through an online dating app known as Bumble. Part of the article reads, quote, we were also not allowed to discuss any of the teachings with friends or family. We were told that they would not understand the teachings and would try to distract us. We were also not allowed to have contact with other members via WhatsApp or any other means. Only leaders were allowed to contact us. So when people left, we were not allowed to contact them or ask them why they left. Jane wanted to attend a Christmas carol evening at her former church but was discouraged from going as it was seen as a distraction by SCJ. She finally plucked up the courage to leave after nearly a year. Quote, my friends and family started to notice I had become withdrawn, and they were concerned, but I couldn't tell them about Shincheonji because we were told not to discuss their teachings with anyone. That's when I finally decided it was time to leave. End quote. Interestingly, other information coming from News24 lately is based around South African Christian mission KwaZulu-Natal, also known as KSB. In 2020, the Commission for the Promotion and Protection of the Rights of Cultural, Religious and Linguistic Communities launched an investigation into KSB after News24 released damning articles and testimonies of abuse that were happening within the confines of KSB. Included in these testimonies is the work of Erica Borman, award-winning author of Mission of Malice, My Exodus from KwaZulu-Natal, whose fight for justice for the abuses sustained to herself and hundreds of other former members, as well as the fight for prevention against further abuse of children still within the fold, has been vigorous, consistent, and completely dedicated. Daniel Schricker, another whistleblower involved in the News 24 exposés and News 24's podcast Exodus, has been another powerful voice, writing numerous essays on the way fear is used to control children within KSB, within the South African Mission, and other established KSB communities within Europe. 3 years after the promised investigation and report into abuses taking place within KSB, the CRL Commission has yet to release its findings publicly, causing some to threaten the Commission with legal action unless they produce the report. We are expected to see that report sometime this month, with a special episode with Erica and Daniel coming out on the Cult Vault podcast, where they will offer their thoughts on the report. Watch this space for more. And grab a copy of Mission of Malice today. It is an exceptional read. Or check out KSB Alert for copies of Daniel's essays and testimonies from other former members. That is the end of today's Cult News. Join me tomorrow for more. I'm your speaker, Casey, host of the Cult Vault podcast.